Here we are again. Stablecoins are under attack, or at least they are losing the peg. After USDC about 1 year ago, right now we have USDC. So one of the biggest stablecoins, probably the second one after USDT, is in this moment losing the peg. And many other stablecoins are following. What we will do together is understanding how big is this crisis and what are the implications for the whole crypto market and DeFi market. And on the other side, I will also explain to you what are the reasons. So which is the real reason that is pushing the market in this way. So stay tuned because this video is particularly important. And what I invite you guys, don't do anything before you don't have a clear overview on what's going on into the market. So watch this video, take more information around, and after decide if you want to sell USDC, if you want to buy whatever you want, because the more you are aware of what's going on, the better it is for your portfolio. Just before to start, guys, let me say this video is about educational content and nothing has to be intended as financial advice. If you want to invest in anything, that's fine, but always your research before. And guys, don't forget also to check out all our links in the description below and to leave us a big thumbs up and drop a comment. This is really important, guys, also to help the algorithm of YouTube to spread this kind of content and to help more people to understand what's going on right now, because it is a really delicate situation, so it is so important. So please, guys, leave us a big thumbs up and drop a comment. Okay, guys, let's start immediately. I want to start with the chart of USDC. As you can see, it doesn't look so pretty. We are losing about in this moment 7%, and that's really a lot for a stablecoin. And this is something that happened just in a couple of hours during DS night. It is happening even right now. The first thing that I want to address is that, is it another USDC? Because if we check the chart of USDC, it looks like that, yes, we started slow, but after that we simply crashed. In my opinion, there is a big difference. And when it comes to USDC, so the stablecoin from Terra, we were talking about something that was an algorithmic stablecoin. So its own mechanism, the way that it was working, it was pushing the price down. So in a moment when that system is activated, is triggered, there is no way to stop it. So it was literally a crash that were unstoppable. The situation of USDC, it is slightly different. We are talking about a stablecoin that were fully backed. If you're wondering why, if we are fully backed, or if we should be supposed to be fully backed, we are suffering this kind of crisis. Well, I don't know if you noticed, but in the last couple of weeks, a lot of rumors came out about the US banks. They are having bad debt, they are having underwater, or better, they are having a liquidity crunch. They are having problems with the liquidity. And the point is that due to the increasing into the interest rates by the Federal Reserve, what we have seen is that many banks that had bonds, but bonds that were paying much less than what they are paying right now, it means that they are having in their balance sheet these bonds. And that's not a problem if they are simply holding them until the end of the period, until the end of the maturity period. The point is that what if, for any reason, they have to sell them? And that's the big problem, because if they have to sell a bond that is paying less compared to the average of the market, obviously the market will pay you less compared to other bonds. So the reality is that, just to give you an example, if you were having a $1,000 of bond, if you want to sell it right now, you will get something less, for the simple reason that the market is saying, man, why should I buy your bond while I can buy a bond, another tool that is much more convenient, is paying me much more, for the simple reason that right now, with the interest rate that is hiking, is spiking, what is happening is that there are other alternatives that are paying much more than the old bond. So the point is that in the moment when these banks are having liquidity problems, for the simple reason there is a bank run, many users are asking to withdraw their money. Obviously, banks are not having your liquidity 100%. They are just having a small share. And it means that in the moment when you are asking them money, they have to do something to recover this liquidity. And in some cases, they have also to sell their bonds. And in that moment, from just an unrealized loss that was just on paper, it will become a realized loss. And in that moment, the bank will have a lot of problems. So this is exactly what happened just the other day with Silicon Valley Bank. Silicon Valley Bank is one of the biggest banks into the United States, or better, it is among we can say, the top 20 banks into the United States. So we are not talking about the biggest player into the market, but we are not even talking about a small player that nobody is caring about. And when we talk about this player, we are talking about a bank that is heavily connected with startups and also with Circle. Circle is the company that is behind USDC. So as you can understand right now, we have this connection between Silicon Valley Bank and USDC. USDC were depositing a part of their cash into the bank. And what happened, as you can see from the latest tweet by Circle, they tried to withdraw 3.3 billion from Silicon Valley Bank, but that withdrawal hasn't gone through. So it means that in this moment, 3.3 million are missing from the balance sheet of Circle. Just to give you an idea, we can check the Circle transparency page. Here you can find all the different information. As you can see from this deep blue, this is the amount of cash at reserve in the banks. They are using 6 different banks, and one of them, unfortunately, were Silicon Valley Bank. And also another one was also Silvergate. This is another bank that had a problem. It was the bank for the crypto market, and they are stopping their activities for the simple reason that in this kind of environment, when it comes to regulations and so on, it is becoming too costly, and on the other side, too complex. So it is quite a big deal, because when we talk about 3.3 billion on 43 billion means around 9%. So we can expect to see USDC going down by 9%. Yes, it is a possibility. What I want to add are 2 things. From one side, and that's the positive thing, it doesn't mean that USDC is not backed anymore by that 3.3 million. It doesn't mean that the Silicon Valley Bank simply lost all of that amount of money. It's not that the case. The reality is that they are having a liquidity problem because they are not able to accomplish all the withdrawals without selling all the bonds and having a loss. So this is a process that is going on right now. As you can see also from the other tweet just below it, like other customers, depositors who relied on SVB for banking service, Circle joined calls for continuity for this important bank into the United States. So what they are saying is that they are asking government, Federal Reserve, and so on, regulators, guys, do something in order to save this bank. Do something in order to understand how we can solve this problem. Because the point is that it's not like the subprime crisis where it has gone from a lot to nothing in just overnight or something like that. In this case, it's much more related to the Federal Reserve policy that has put a lot of pressure on the different banks. And this is one of the consequences. So right now, what we need to understand is what will be the solution, what will be the answer that will be proposed by the different government institutions. Additionally, even if SVB will simply fail, it doesn't mean that the whole amount of 3.3 billion will simply disappear. With any probability, the kind of amount is much more about 80-90% or even more. So it will be like that instead of having a loss for Circle about 10% of DPEG, the real DPEG will be just 1%. So that's another story. Does it mean that it's a good idea to buy right now USDC because you will get an easy 6%? Well, it's not for granted, and we need to understand that the whole market, the whole banks that are working with Circle are having problems. So the reality is that we don't know if also the other 4 banks that are used by Circle are having problems. So the reality is that this kind of uncertainty, well, it's difficult to understand what will happen. And on the other side, we don't have also to forget, what if a bank run is happening over USDC and for some reason, in order to avoid worse problem, they have to stop withdrawals. In that case, yes, maybe your real loss is not 10% or not worse, but you can't use your money, and that's another problem. Not to mention, what if your USDC are not useful anymore into the crypto market for the simple reason that no one wanna use them. I'm just giving you the different examples. I'm not saying that this is something that will happen right now, but this is something that is a possibility. So I want to invite you, pay attention. If it would be obviously better, instead of having USDC in this moment, having USDT, or even just having Ethereum or Bitcoin. It is giving you much more flexibility to go from one asset to another one, instead of having USDC that right now it is exposed to so much volatility. I want to add another thing, because the reality is that even if this problem is relying just USDC in this moment, at least, as you can see from DeFi Llama down here, you can see how much USDC we're issuing to the market. Right now we are about 40 billion, and you can also check it out in each chain how much USDC there is. And the amount of money that is deployed on blockchain and on different protocols is quite big. And even worse is the problem is that the same USDC is used with as collateral for other stablecoins. We know DAI, we know Frax. All of them are backed by USDC, at least in a certain kind of percentage. That's the reason why if you go on stablecoins, on CoinGecko, or maybe also on CoinMarketCap or whatever, you will see that USDC in this moment is about 0.92, DAI is about 0.94, Frax is about 0.93, and so on. Why? For the same reason. They are backed by USDC, at least a part. So it means that if USDC is dumping, well, also the DAI stablecoin and Frax and so on could have problems that could be usually smaller, but it's not for granted even in this case, because it really depends how the whole situation will evolve. I remain quite positive on the overall situation. I think that is a crisis that will be solved in the next future, and the consequences will not be so dramatic. Even if this is just a feeling that should be proved by time and by the whole action that will be taken by the different players. In this moment, the reality is that the whole crypto and DeFi ecosystem is under pressure. Just to give you an idea, even GMX is suffering from this situation. As you can see today, minus 4.9%. Why? For the simple reason that the GLP, as you can see from the dashboard here, GLP is composed by a big part of USDC. So if USDC is losing value, well, also GLP will lose value. And if GLP is losing value, maybe someone want to withdraw GLP. If someone want to withdraw GLP, there is less collateral, less amount of money to be used on GMX and so on. So as you can understand, there are many connections into this market, and the kind of consequences are really following one, the other one, and the final result is quite unpredictable for the simple reason that with so many interconnections, we are talking about a complex problem, and with the complexity, it's always unpredictable to understand what will happen at the end. So let's try to summarize it to give you the hints on what's going on right now. So we're having USDC that is losing the peg due to SVB that is stopping the withdrawal. So it means that USDC in this moment is not fully backed, at least if all the people want to withdraw it. On the other side, what we have is that all the stablecoins that were backed by USDC are having troubles, because even in this case, they are losing the peg. On the other side, all the different protocols that were using USDC are having problems. Imagine to have USDC as a collateral. You were thinking that it was safe because USDC will never lose the peg. It means that suddenly many positions will be liquidated. And guess what? What happens in the moment when a position is getting liquidated? Well, it will be sold. And if, let's say, an Ethereum position, a Bitcoin position is being sold, it is being liquidated, selling pressure is coming and more downside into the price. So as you can see, everything is interconnected. On the other side, we have also to say, yes, we have already seen a big downfall into the price just in the previous days. Does it mean that it is enough, or we will have another big downfall due to this kind of selling pressure that could come due to the different liquidation that could happen if the USDC collateral is having less value? The reality is that it's too complex to be said right now. I'm thinking that overall the kind of exposure of the different protocols is big, but not so big to crash the whole market. But yes, we can see a lot of volatility. My main worry is that in this kind of environment, what this situation is demonstrating to us is that which kind of stablecoin we can trust. And without a stablecoin that is reliable, how we can deal with cryptos, that's a big problem. And that's something that it should be to be addressed as fast as possible. As I'm always saying, guys, diversify your holdings to among different stablecoins, and if it is possible, among stablecoins that are not interconnected, because if you are using DAI thinking that you are not exposed to stablecoins like USDC, it is wrong. You are exposed to USDC and you are also exposed to USDT and so on. So please diversify for real your basket of stablecoins and try to stay safe. Collect as many information as possible because the current situation is delicate. Don't think that it's just buying USDC at discount, and on the other side, don't think that USDC is simply dead forever. It is a delicate situation where the answer is not for granted and it's not easy. I will keep you posted on this matter. I will write also on Twitter just to keep you posted. And in the next couple of days, I don't have yet a deadline because I want to see what is happening to the market, because there are a couple of metrics that are showing an interesting new point of view also on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the whole crypto market. And this is something that could be positive, but I want to wait for this story to end, or at least to have a more level of certainty on what's going on. I don't think that anything could be clear until next week. So we can say Monday, Tuesday, and so on. For the simple reason that during the weekend, institutions are not working. So the kind of price action that we will see during the next couple of days, so today and tomorrow, it will be much more impulsive and much more due to what's going on just among retailers. Institutions will play their part just on Monday, so take also that in consideration. Let me know what you think about this whole story into the comment section below. Don't forget to leave us a big thumbs up, and guys, I will see you soon with another video. Bye, guys.